My crazy mom. My crazy mom. She's dead. My crazy mom. My crazy mom. She's dead.
My crazy mom. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sure I've got some really great Christmas memories, and I do. But she just died this year, so let's give it some time. Instead, let's just stick to funny winter stories. My crazy mom. Now, one smart thing to do in home ownership is conserve energy. You don't need the house, you don't need the thermometer set at 72 when you can set it at 68 or 65, or as my mom did, 55. Now 55 may sound awfully cold, and I assure you it is. But she would supplement the heat with a wood-burning stove, as if that does anything. See, the house it's a huge house. It's absolutely massive, but it's a modular home. And people, I had a friend whose dad was an architect who looked at the blueprints because he was thinking about helping them with a remodel. He looked at it and said, a modular that size? It would never work. And no, it turns out it didn't work. It was a disaster. And the central heating never really got to the outer rooms. The thermostat, there was only one thermostat, was in the living room. So when the wood stove was in operation, the living room would get to, 70, 80 plus degrees. And the rest of the house would get very cold. Mythbusters even did an episode where they tested the theory that a wood-burning fire actually makes the outer edges of the house cooler. And they found that, yes, in fact, it does. Because the fire needs air, so it draws it from every corner of the house. So near the fire is warm, far from the fire, and my room was the farthest from the fire. Those rooms would get very cold. And I knew they got cold. I knew that in part because I lived in those, in that room, but in part because there was ice. I'd wake up in the morning and there would be ice on my window, sometimes as much as an inch thick towards the bottom. There'd be these little frozen icicles on my window, and by little I mean huge, and by icicles I mean my windows were frozen, meaning the inside of my room was, if not below freezing, around freezing. And I complained. I said, Mom, it's really hard to sleep when I'm this cold. So she did what any sensible mother would do. No, she didn't give me a second blanket. She got me flannel sheets instead of cotton poly sheets. So clearly that means your scrawny child will not succumb to some sort of freezing death. It's crazy. Setting the house at 55. The only room in the house that was 55 or above was their bedroom, which was directly above the room with the thermostat. The rest of us, it's like Mother Teresa said, life is suffering. That's how we show our gratitude. Thanks, Mom. You were crazy. And now you're not able to hurt us anymore. Love you, Mom. Miss you. Merry Christmas.